Today's story is about love. Love that prevails. Love that saves. Love that looks past disability. Love that gives a person a reason to live. Today's story is about Jade and Chidinma and how love saved them both. Chidinma's story begins with struggle. She walks from office to office, knocking on doors, asking for a job. But no one gives her a chance. At one building, security doesn't even let her finish speaking. He turns her away like she doesn't matter. At the next, she sits for an interview, nervous, hopeful, but again, she is rejected. Now she walks alone, tears in her eyes, completely exhausted. The desperation on her face is visible to everyone, and some people take advantage of that vulnerability. Security guards humiliate her. Interviewers disrespect her boundaries. She tries everything. In one interview, she succeeds, but the employer tries to compromise her integrity. Chidinma refuses. She has values, and she will not trade them for a salary. Her personal life offers no comfort either. Her boyfriend is self-centered and manipulative. Chidinma is always the one providing, always the one giving, and he takes advantage of her generous heart. She lends him money, he never repays. She pours love into a man who pours nothing back. At the same time, Jade lives in a completely different kind of pain. He sits at the dining table with his mother. Breakfast is served. But he doesn't eat. His mother speaks to him gently, carefully, like someone walking on thin ice, terrified of saying the wrong thing. But Jade responds with cold anger. He pushes the food away and storms off. Later, his mother sits alone in the living room, crying quietly. Her eyes drift to a portrait on the wall, Jade and his brother, smiling. A life that no longer exists. Let us go back a little bit. How did Jade become this way? He used to be a normal young man, always smiling, happy, and kind. But one night changed everything. The rain was heavy. Visibility was low. But they kept going, not knowing it would be their last ride together. The car suddenly lost control. It spun, then crashed. Jade survived that night, but a part of him died with his brother. His brother was more than family. He was a confidant, a father figure, and a best friend. He understood Jade in a way no one else in the world did. And now he was gone. Jade's friend comes to visit. They sit together in silence, trying to find words. But Jade is still lost. You can see the emptiness in his eyes, even when he attempts a smile. It doesn't reach them. Then a caregiver walks in, a middle-aged woman carrying food, doing her best. But Jade explodes. He insults her. He yells. The woman drops to her knees, crying. His friend watches in shock. His mother watches with a broken heart. The caregiver quietly packs her bags and leaves. Another one gone. Meanwhile, Chidinma sits quietly with her younger sister, eating what little is left from yesterday's dinner. They both know this is the best meal they will have for days. Most days, they go without eating at all. Carries the weight of everything: rent, school fees, food, clothing. It is too much for one person. She watches her peers going out, having fun, building careers, and she feels left behind. Every opportunity to improve her life seems to require a compromise. She is unwilling to make. She was raised with dignity and values. She does not fear hard work. And she will not lower her standards, not for anyone. Then her phone rings. It startles her. Barely anyone calls anymore. She has slowly been forgotten by people who only kept her close when she was useful to them. She answers, her face changes instantly. She got the job. She calls. Her sister immediately excited. Overwhelmed with relief. For the first time in a long time, there is hope. She begins imagining what the salary will mean. A full plate every evening. School fees paid on time. A little peace. She feels that God has finally remembered her. She cannot sleep that night. Her mind races with thoughts of the future, and every time a negative thought creeps in, she pushes it away and replaces it with hope. The next morning, she rises early. She puts on the best clothes she owns, wanting to make a good first impression. Then she begins walking toward the address her friend gave her. A long walk, but she has no money for transport. Even if she did, she would spend it on food. Transportation is a luxury. She is used to distance. After walking for about an hour and a half, she sees it, a large, modern two-story house behind a gate. The kind of house she has only ever seen from the outside. Anxious thoughts rush in. What if I'm not qualified? What if I'm not good enough? But she steadies herself. She has hope and she has faith. That is enough. She knocks. The security guard opens the gate. When she introduces herself as the new caregiver, he looks at her with something close to pity and says quietly, "May God go with you." His words unsettle her. But before she can dwell on them, a woman appears from inside, elegant, warm, smiling. Even in casual clothes, her grace is unmistakable. She welcomes Chidinma in. Inside, they talk and laugh. The woman skips the formal interview and simply asks Chidinma about herself, her age, her siblings, her life. It feels natural and peaceful. Chidinma learns that the woman is a successful entrepreneur and a single mother of 2 sons. Then the woman's expression shifts. She shares that one son passed away the previous year. The other survived, but is now in a wheelchair. Chidinma is speechless. What could she possibly say to comfort a mother who has lost one child and watches the other suffer? There are no words, so she simply listens. Then suddenly, Jade wheels himself into the living room. His face is cold and closed. "I told you I don't want a caregiver." His mother tenses immediately. At the sight of her son, all her previous confidence dissolves. She is afraid to say the wrong thing, one wrong word, and everything could shatter. But she holds on. She believes this girl might be different. Jade's eyes shift to Chidinma. Chidinma stands there, nervous, her thoughts racing. God, what have I gotten myself into? I'm going to be fired on my first day. But then she thinks of her sister, sitting at home, waiting, hungry. She has no choice. She will stay. Jade's mother apologizes and asks Chidinma if she is willing to stay and take on the challenge. Chidinma agrees without hesitation. She has raised her younger sister alone. She can handle this. Her first task is to prepare a meal. The mother gives her instructions on Jade's medications, his schedule, his preferences. Chidinma listens carefully and in that moment quietly vows to help this woman whose life has been filled with grief. She cooks her best meal, the kind she used to make at the restaurant where customers always praised her food. She is confident, but when she serves it to Jade, he stares at it with disgust. He drops his fork. What is this? He criticizes the food. He questions her ability. He is rude and dismissive. But Chidinma simply smiles. She understands immediately this has nothing to do with the food. Jade is broken inside and looking for faults everywhere. She will not take it personally. Even his mother has to hide. Her amusement, the days that follow, are not easy. Chidinma helps him take his medication. He lashes out over small things, just as he does with everyone around him. But this time, Chidinma does not move. She stands firm, arms crossed, completely composed, and says, "You need me as much as I need this job." That moment changes everything because, for the first time, someone is not afraid of him. Jade has never encountered someone who could handle him like this. It is new. It is unexpected. And quietly, it pulls him out of his numbness. Being irritated at Chidinma is better than sitting alone in grief. Days pass. Then, weeks, they sit together. They argue. They talk. He ignores her sometimes. He disrespects her. But beneath the surface, something is shifting in both of them. Jade has always struggled to sleep. Everyone in the house knows this. The light in his room stays on through the night. But one evening, while Chidinma is helping him settle in, he mentions that he cannot sleep. Without overthinking it, she offers a simple prayer. Jade listens. That night, he sleeps deeply and peacefully for the first time in longer than he can remember. The arguments and banter slowly begin to transform into something deeper. Real conversations, genuine laughter, and then, quietly, unexpectedly, something warmer begins to grow. Chidinma notices that Jade is handsome in every sense of the word. Not just his appearance, but the way he speaks to her, with care, with curiosity, with respect. She begins comparing him, without meaning to her past relationships. Jade is better in every way, and Jade begins to feel something new as well. He starts imagining the future, something he stopped doing the night of the accident. Every morning, he wakes up thinking about Chidinma. His brother's absence still hurts, but not with the same crushing weight. He has something to hold on to now. She pushes him further. She encourages him to try walking again. At first, he refuses. Walking means confronting everything he has been avoiding, the pain, the memory, the guilt of surviving. But Chidinma stands firm. You don't have to do it alone. And eventually, he tries. The first attempt is painful. His body shakes. His legs feel like they belong to someone else. But he stands, then he falls. Hard. Frustration takes over. He wants to give up, but Chidinma does not give up on him. Step by step, attempt by attempt, he keeps trying. And through all of that pain, something continues to grow between them. Love, not perfect, not instant, but genuine. Then everything breaks. On his birthday, a message appears online. A goodbye message written in darker days. Chidinma sees it, and her heart stops. She confronts him, shaking. Why would he write something like that? What about everything they talked about? What about the future? Jade tries to explain. He tells her that he changed his mind, that she brought light into his life, that his feelings are real. But the words do not land the way he needs them to, because beneath everything there is another layer, guilt. Jade is afraid that choosing to live, choosing to be happy, is a betrayal of his brother. How can he smile and love and plan a future when his brother never got the chance? Chidinma feels deeply betrayed. She had been fighting for him while he had already given up on himself in secret. She looks at him with everything she has left and says, I can love you through anything. But I cannot love someone who keeps choosing death. And then she leaves. She tells herself, maybe if I go, he will realize how much he has to live for. Maybe my absence will be the thing that finally wakes him up. Chidinma returns to her own life. She is not okay, but she does not have time to fall apart. By God's grace, Jade's mother refers her to a new job. Even in her grief over her son's situation, she can see that Chidinma had given him a reason to fight. And she wants to honor that. Jade begins to see the truth. The guilt starts to loosen its grip. He has a life worth fighting for. He has a mother who needs her son. And he has Chidinma, a woman he loves deeply. The thought of her moving on, living her life, loving someone else, it is unbearable. But he knows that love alone is not enough reason to change. He needs to want this for himself. He starts therapy. He joins a support group of people navigating grief, loss, and recovery. For the first time, he talks openly about what he feels without hiding, without running. He heals, slowly but surely. He finds the motivation to keep working at walking. He wants to return to Chidinma as a whole man, healed, confident, and ready to provide. A good partner, a good son. During those months, he asks his mother about Chidinma regularly. He is blocked on every platform, but his mother has become close to her. She tells him Chidinma is thriving and teases him gently that if he waits too long, someone else will notice her. But Jade is patient. He wants to be ready. When he feels ready, he reaches out. Chidinma refuses, so he tries again. And again. Her pride is strong, and honestly, it is deserved. But his mother speaks to her. She asks Chidinma to give her son just one conversation. Not a commitment, just a meeting. Chidinma agrees. On the day of the meeting, Chidinma arrives first. She waits. Then she sees him, and she gasps. Jade is walking toward her, not in the wheelchair, walking on his own. His head is lifted. His eyes are clear and full of light. He is smiling, a real smile, the kind that reaches every part of his face. He looks healthier, stronger, and more at peace than she has ever seen him. She cannot believe this is the same man. They sit down. He speaks honestly. He apologizes, not with excuses, but with sincerity. The conversation flows. The heaviness between them slowly lifts. And then he says the words she needed to hear. You didn't save me. You gave me a reason to save myself. She sees it in his eyes. He means every word. In the end, love survives. Not because everything is perfect, but because they both choose it every single day. Jade continues walking, step by step, and finally, he does something he once believed was impossible. He plans a future with her. He proposes, and she says, yes, because sometimes love does not save you in an instant. It simply reminds you that your life is still worth fighting for.